Okay, today I'm going to be going over the differences between all three of the Hien models, the mid, the soft, and the extra soft. Got the extra soft, the mid, and the soft. I main the soft. The reason I main the soft is because it's most similar in density to other mouse pads. For example, here's the Odin Infinity. It's a very similar density. Most mouse pads that you get that don't give you an option between foam density are going to be about this and pretty similar to the soft. The soft is a little bit softer than these, but it's also a little bit thicker as well. To start things off, I'm going to say don't buy the extra soft. Now, the reason for this is because mouse skates are very thin, and that means that the difference between the bottom of the mouse skate and the bottom mouse surface is very small. And when you have a very plush and thick surface like this, it takes a very small amount of effort to push past the bottom of the skate and then have the mouse pad actually start rubbing on the bottom of the mouse, which is obviously not a good thing because you're going to lose that glide consistency, and you can hear that here, hopefully. So this is hopefully you can hear that. That would be the difference there of pushing down too hard, and then you're now rubbing on the bottom of the mouse as opposed to the mouse skates, which is not a good thing. So now that you've knocked the extra soft out of the way, and it basically comes down to your preference between mid and soft. Now, I will say one thing: if you like hard mouse pads, if you've tried them before, but they might be a little bit too fast for you, the mid is a very good option because it's basically a hard pad. It is a very, very stiff foam, basically to the point where you can't even compress it with your hand. There's just not enough force there. So a pro towards this is incredibly consistent glide. Whether you have a calm hand or you're stressed out and you're putting a lot of pressure down on the mouse, the glide is going to be consistent the entire time. That's one of the reasons why I like the mid over the soft. Now, I end up maining the soft just because of that little bit of extra control that you do get when you push down. It's not a lot, it's not a big difference, but it is noticeable, and it's a lot easier of a transition going from more traditional control pads or speed pads, I guess you could say, to this, which is a very unique texture, and it has very unique characteristics. So keeping that foam density similar to other mouse pads makes the transition a lot easier, because going to an Artisan pad definitely is an odd transition, but worth it in the long run. Obviously, Artisan mouse pads are known for their incredible quality. One of the defining features of them is having the stitching actually be lower than the mouse surface itself. I find that not to be true on the mid. It's pretty even, but you don't notice it at all when you're playing. I do believe that is down to it being a little bit thinner than the rest of the pads, but either way, that stitching is still very low. You're not going to notice it on your forearm when you're playing your games. The nice thing about Artisan mouse pads is this very unique weave. You're not going to find it anywhere else. It's quite unique when you look at it. There's a lot of high points and a lot of low points, leading to, I believe, a lot less contact with the mouse skate, leading to a faster glide, which is a nice thing. There's very low static friction, which is the thing that I enjoy the most about these pads, as opposed to traditional pads where I find I get a lot of stick slip with micro adjustments. My mouse will stick, and then I'll have to put in a lot of force to get it to move, and then it will jerk around. You're not going to get that with these pads. The only thing that is bad about that is that they're very fast. So if you do need control, you're going to have to find that control through your muscles and not through the pad itself. Another thing to go over is the base. The base on the Artisan pads has always been quite coveted and talked very highly of. The base is best on the XSoft. It's incredibly sticky. You have to peel it off of your desk like it's a sticker every time you're done using it. And that trend continues on with the soft. It's not as sticky, but it still is sticky to the point where it's not going anywhere. And unfortunately, that trend ends when you get to the mid. It seems that the harder you go in the foam thickness, the worse the base is. As you can see here, it's somewhat easy to move around. Although, you know, once you get it stuck down and you start playing with it, you're not going to end up being able to move it, which is a good thing. Although it is not as good as the other pads. So, in conclusion, my recommendations are always going to be to go with the soft if you're not sure. If you know that you've used glass pads, hard pads before and you really like them, but you want something a little bit more traditional, the mid is going to be a good option for you. Or if you also know that you just want something with an incredibly consistent glide all around, or you've been looking to try a hard pad, but you don't really want to go into that, then the mid would be the option. But soft, always the best option to recommend to anybody. It's just a great all-rounder, gets the job done, very smooth, very consistent, with that little bit of control that's not really offered on the other pads. Alright, well, thank you for watching my video. Please leave a like and let me know some constructive criticism below.